Today's video is going to specifically be covering more psychology. So we talked a lot about strategy in the previous videos of the Blueprint series, but I think I'm going to kind of shift towards psychology a little bit, talk more about that because we ran through a lot of trading strategy related topics. Now it's going to be more foundational and psychology and kind of the gaps that I see that most traders have in their learning, and filling that in with some general information that will for sure help you guys out if you have this issue, or if you guys already solved this issue, it'll help reinforce the good habits into your brain. So that being said, this topic I kind of wanted to shift around emotions and emotional trading, which is kind of the main side of psychology, about letting your emotions get involved in your trade, distracting you from logical thinking and following your rules and taking good setups. That's the main role emotions have in our trades, right? We can't fully get rid of emotions, but we can minimize them to the best of our ability, and not let it take control of our actual trading decision making. The best way I like to view it is letting your emotions sit in the passenger seat of your car and you are in the driver's seat. Your logical thinking brain is in the driver's seat. So you're letting your rules navigate you, guide you in the right direction. That's what you're controlling. That's what's guiding you. And the emotional side is just that small little like checkup, making sure everything's good, making sure the emotions are in check and nothing's going out of place in terms of our emotions. Okay, because we can't minimize our emotions to zero. We're humans. We're not robots. We have an emotional side to our brain. We should minimize that and not let that distract us to the point where it affects our driving and we go over a curb and hit a tree. So we can't have that happening. That's the equivalent of going on tilt and blowing your accounts. So we don't want that happening. We want our eyes straight forward on the charts, on the trading, on the performance. Make sure we follow our rules and our strategy the way we're supposed to, and let the probabilities play out. So that's kind of the basics of emotional trading and how that can affect you. So this video I wanted to lean towards how outside events may affect your trading performance and your emotion trading management. Because all of us have things that happen outside of our life, right? You can't avoid emergencies. You can't avoid just shit that just goes on in your life, right? There's going to be times where you're mentally stressed out. There's going to be times where you're mentally relaxed, right? It's like a spectrum. It's like a balance. It's like a roller coaster. Sometimes it's up. Sometimes the stress is high. Sometimes stress is low. You're coasting. Everything's chilling. Sometimes it's like balancing in the middle. It's going back and forth, right? It's never perfect. It's never ideal, but there's times where it is ideal and times where it's opposite of ideal. And this video is going to kind of help you guys understand the best way to approach it and the best framework to view that and how to go about that whenever you have a situation where you're very mentally stressed and you still want to trade. So my piece of advice to you guys would be, if there's anything outside of your trading realm, somewhere in your personal life that's affecting you mentally, that's causing you to shift your focus outside of the charts and onto something that's keeping you anxious or nervous about something or worried about something, maybe some future thing that's about to happen, you're kind of thinking about it a lot, or something in the past that's recently happened, something tragic, something that's stressed you out a lot, and it's on your mind and you can't get over it, then my biggest tip to you guys would be hop off the charts. Straight up. Shut your computer down, turn off your phone, go do some other stuff to ease your brain and do the other things that you need to get done. Why? Because the markets are always going to be here. First, they're going to be here all the time. They're here practically 24/7, and they've been around for decades, and they will be around for decades to come. So there's many, many opportunities, and missing one day of opportunities is not going to get you stuck. It's not going to restrict you from the biggest day of your trading career that's going to be the biggest turning point. So take the time to reset, recalibrate, come with a fresh mind into the markets, because that's going to do a lot better for your P&L than you think. If you come into the markets with a mentally unstable way of trading, right, very, very prone to going on tilt, you can do a lot of harm to your P&L than you think. Why? Because when you are on that mental edge where you're very easily just ticked off like that, one losing trade can just cause you to go on tilt and lose your emotions. You can easily lose a lot more than you wanted to, right? We all know this. easily when one loss happens, let's say one thing doesn't go the way you want and you're already ticked off from something else outside of the market. So you're going into the markets with a negative mindset already, right? You're already thinking, damn, if this thing also fails me, then I'm going to be frustrated as hell. That's the worst thing you can think about, because trading, you don't know if your next trade is going to be a win or loss. You don't know that. You just know over a large sample of trades that your probabilities will play out. For example, 65% win rate means on average 65 over 100 trades you're going to be winning, and 35 out of 100 trades you're going to be losing. So you don't know the exact sequence of those wins and losses. You just know you have to let the probabilities play out. But if you try to force the next few trades to be winners and you see it's a loser and you already come in mentally frustrated, you're already thinking about your emotions, you're already stressed out about something prior, you know you're focusing too much on your previous situation that caused you to be stressed, or a future situation that's causing you to be stressed, you're not going to be in tune with the market. You're not going to be focused. You're not going to be sharp either. So you're not going to have that intuition and experience part of your brain active and consciously, or honestly subconsciously, thinking about the patterns that you're recognizing in your strategy and the methods you're supposed to actively trade every single day in and day out. Right? You're that point, that part of your brain is going to be worried about the thing you're stressing about. So getting onto the charts, you're not going to be in the A+ mindset that you're supposed to be in. So what does that mean? That means you are prone to not playing the best way you should, which is exactly why you shouldn't, was exactly the point where, the time where you shouldn't be taking any trades. If you guys have watched my videos before, you know I preach take only A+, best of the best setups. The setups that you think if this hits stop loss, you'll be very surprised. But of course, you don't know if this trade is going to lose or it's going to win, but we know that if we take the best of the best trades, we should think in our head, we're probably thinking that this trade is a very, very valid trade and it's definitely following all of our rules. That's what I mean when I say you would be very surprised if this goes and hits stop loss, because a strategy that most likely doesn't hit stop loss often is the one that follows all your criterias, all your rules to the exact T, because you're trading the high probability A+ setup that you've tested and you know it works over a large number of trades, where you have that profitable edge in your favor over a large number of trades. And when you have that mental is it instability or instability? I forgot. But whenever you're in that mental situation, it's very unlikely and it's very difficult for you to stay mentally calm and focus on the logical side of your brain and logical analysis and just go following your rules and stay focused on the market. It makes it much more difficult. Not saying it's impossible. Of course, that's a skill you guys want to build, where you don't let that outside event affect your mental and process on how you trade and your logical side of your brain and how you're going to do your analysis on the chart. You don't want it to affect that. But it makes it a lot easier to be affected whenever there's something outside that's stressing you out, causing you to be frustrated, causing you to be nervous or worried or anxious about something that's in the future, or even depressed, right? Whether you broke up with let's say you broke up with your girlfriend or boyfriend recently, right? And for the first few days, you don't really feel much, but then it starts to kick in a little bit later, and mentally you're just not in the right position to be in the market, right? You're constantly thinking about like what happened, the whole situation, the past, and it's all in your head. And that's the exact time where you shouldn't be trading, because you're thinking about completely different things. Your mind is always getting distracted when it should be focused on the market, and it's not letting you be sharp and in tune with the charts and be in your A+ mindset to take your A+ trades. Okay, it's going to be very difficult taking your A+ trades if you're not in your A+ mindset. We want ideally to be in a situation where we just have us and our focus with the charts. Nothing else, nothing interfering our thought process, nothing interfering our mental, just us, our strategy, our checklist, our rules right next to us, making sure we enter, following and according to that, and taking nothing else, and not over trading and not revenge trading. Right? Trading is a big chunk of trading is a mindset thing. Of course, strategy is also a big component, but if you don't have the mindset part of it, you can't have the profitability. And if you don't have the strategy portion of it, you also can't have the profitability. So it goes hand in hand. You need one or the other. I mean, you need both. Sorry, you can't have just one or the other. So if you're ever in a situation where you just feel stressed, you don't feel like, just maybe even 20% of you just doesn't feel in tune with the market, just sit out. Sit out. If you're hesitant about taking the trade, it's better to sit out than to take the trade with low confidence, because that makes it very, very prone for you to fumble, go on tilt, not follow your rules, and eventually blow up your account. Only take trades with confidence, right? right? Confidence is another big key component of this. Always take your trades with full confidence. And if you don't have confidence in your trades, that usually comes from a lack of trusting your system. And why do you not trust your system? Because you don't know that it's profitable. You don't have the data to back it up. How do you get the data to back it up? Backtesting, getting your statistical win rate and risk reward for your trades over a large sample of trades. Along with that, if you see the data and you've trained your brain to know what good setups look like, you'll trust it more because now you have experience trading the strategy. How do you get that experience? Backtesting on FX Replay, like I mentioned in the previous videos. FX Replay lets you simulate the live market almost identical to the live market by letting you play a lower time frame playback. For example, the 1 second time frame while you're watching the 1 minute time frame. So you can be on the 1 minute candlesticks, but you're letting the 1 second, every second the candle adjusts and moves as to what it looked like every new second on that candle. This practically lets you simulate almost a tick by tick data. So it's a very, very good way to help you build experience so you can get your statistical win rate and risk reward on your system and see that it's profitable or not profitable and see if you have to potentially optimize it and gain that confidence and trust in your strategy by building that experience side of your brain and the intuition side of your brain. So you know your A+ setup when it's there. So not too long of a video, right? Getting straight to the point, talking straight about emotions, how to avoid it, how to minimize it, and not let it affect your main logical thinking side of your brain that you should be using when you're approaching trading and you're trading live in the market, right? We can't get rid of emotions, but we can minimize it to the best of our ability, right? Put it in the passenger seat while we're in the driver's seat, not letting it distract us, but sometimes helping us navigate our way through things, right? Because we can't eliminate it to zero. We're not robots. We have that part in our brain at all times. So we gotta put in the passenger seat, not let it distract us. It's there, but we don't acknowledge it. We don't focus on it. It's there, but we can't put it. We can't put our focus onto it. Can't put our attention to it. That's the word I was looking for. Attention. Got to focus on what's in front of us, the charts, and use our logical side of our brain to navigate us and using our rules, using our strategy, using the strategy that we know works over a large number of trades and letting that play out, right? Always, again, journaling, recording our trades, doing the things we know we need to get done as well, right? Getting up at the time we're supposed to, following through with our trading window, not getting distracted, like going on our phone while we're in our trading window, because that, of course, gets you off focus. That's just almost as bad as like literally using your emotions in between like your trades, right? So stay focused because that's going to help you build the experience side of your brain, get that intuition down, focus on the charts, and understand your high probability setups. Right? We want to trade with confidence and minimize our emotions and not let outside events distract us and affect our mental. If we notice that outside events are distracting us, take time off the charts, take a day off, potentially a week off, or even a month off. If you guys have heard me explain my story before, you guys know I took a month off 6 months before I actually turned profitable. I took a month off because my mind was so focused on the money and I started to get distracted about the profits I was making. And I realized, well, I could just scale up and make a lot more. And I let that money get to me, the profits get to me. And it caused me to go on tilt. And I noticed my performance would just go completely down the drain. I'd go on tilt. I was so frustrated. I had no idea what was going wrong, what was going on, and what I was doing wrong. So I had to just take a break and just hop off the charts and mentally reset. I was so stressed out. Everything was getting on top of my head. I was overwhelmed, overthinking everything, getting no sleep. So I just decided I'm just taking a break for this. I don't even know where I'm at with this. I just know I'm taking a break and I'm not I'm not even going to think about this at all for at least a week or two. After about a week, of course, I wanted to go back, but I knew I had to wait a little bit longer. I knew I should just let myself reset, get my brain recalibrated, right? Coming in with the right approach and taking that break kind of lets my brain come back to reality, just understanding the world around me, and that it's not just me making money every single day, trying to predict every single candlestick. Sometimes you can get very overwhelmed and over-focused, which is sometimes not the best because you start overthinking every small thing that you do. When trading is, of course, you should be thinking about the things you're doing, but not overthinking and overcomplicating, right? Keeping trading simple. Some people, a lot of times when they take a losing trade, they think they have to change something out of their strategy. They go and backtest everything. They go and analyze every single candlestick that led them up to that loss or potential win, whatever, and think they need to change their strategy. But that's not the case. There's not a lesson to be learned from every loss, right? You guys have heard me say it. There's good wins and good losses, and bad wins and bad losses. The good wins and good losses are the ones where we take following our system, following our rules, our entries and exits, exactly to the T, exactly to the way that they're supposed to be followed. The bad wins and bad losses are the ones where we try new stuff. Maybe we enter off of FOMO. Maybe we wait for 3 things on our checklist instead of all 4 to enter our trade. Maybe we don't exit at our actual TP or stop loss. Maybe we let it run a little bit further because we feel like it has more room to go. Right? Those are all bad habits. And if you win on that trade, that reinforces those habits into you, saying that, okay, I won on this trade, that means it's a good thing, but that's not the way you should approach things. You can't control, again, whether this specific trade is going to be a win or loss, but you can track your performance over a larger number of trades and see, how did your strategy perform? Did your win rate follow up to your statistical win rate that you have or not? Right? And these bad losses are also the worst ones you can have, because not only do you try something new, but you also lose trying something new. So it's like a double loss. At least in a bad win, you try something new and it works out. But that's also honestly a bad thing too, because then you get rewarded for bad behavior. So you want to minimize those bad losses and bad wins. That's all I can tell you. So minimize bad losses and bad wins. Take good wins and good losses. Trade with confidence. If you're not confident, don't enter. Only enter trades that you'd be fully surprised if this goes and hits your stop loss, because that usually means it hits all your criterias and checklists for entering your trades and exiting your trades. Along with that, if external events are affecting your mindset and affecting how you think, then take a break from the charts. Markets will be around here for days and days to come. Setups will always be here. Markets are not going to randomly change overnight. The conditions are not going to completely change and flip against you. So, with that being said, stay focused. Don't let your emotions get to you. If you need to, take a break. Markets will always be here, okay? Recalibrate, because that will do a lot better for your P&L than you actually think. Trading on that day when you're mentally frustrated will not do good for your P&L. I promise you that. If you don't believe me, try it out for yourself. You'll see you blow an account like that. Or go on tilt, lose pretty much a decent chunk of your portfolio very, very quickly. So take my advice for it. Learn from my experience. Hopefully you guys learned a thing or two from this video about emotional trading and confidence in the markets, and almost a little bit about probabilities as well. So hope you guys get some value. Not too crazy long of a video. I think the next video might be covering prop firms, but I have to make it more in-depth and break it down a lot more specific, so you guys can see exactly how they work, the comparison of different prop firms, the different rules, what each rule means, and breaking it down so you guys can pretty much understand how prop firms work and all the different ones just purely from that video, along with knowing what's the best ones you should go about using right now at the current moment. So I will see you guys in that next video. Take care, guys.